If I learned anything from my former career of being an elite professional ballroom dancer, it's that it's not a meritocracy, and frankly the politics are ruining the sport. If I learned two things, is it's all about rhythm and coordination. So we're going to use the piano here to talk a little bit about rhythm. All comes down to counting and being able to practice some really kind of simple counting that just goes beyond just counting to 4 over and over again. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do something that sounds like this. And then eventually we're going to add the right hand to kind of do more like a... Okay? Really simple once we break it down. It's all about kind of breaking down the count, because a lot of times you'll see people be like, oh, you just have to like feel it. Feel the rhythms. Let the rhythms take over you. That's kind of nonsense. It comes down to basic counting, right? Now there's a couple different ways to do this, and I've had different students kind of react differently. Basically, we're going to have 8 counts, or we can think of it as a bar. We're going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So what we're doing here, we're starting with the C. I'm playing with my pointer finger in my left hand, then jumping up to a G, and then playing the G below. Okay, so C to its 5th, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. C to its 5th, and then its 5th below. And then I'm playing a C minor in the right hand, which is C, E flat, G. Okay, but first of all, just focusing on the bass notes right here. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. I'm choosing just to play the 1 in a count of 3, a count of 3, and a count of 2, all right? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Some people like counting it all the way straight. I think that's a little bit more difficult, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then accenting the 1, the 4, and the 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think that's a little more difficult. Other people like to use the and. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So that would be the 1, the and of 2, and then the 4, okay? Doesn't matter how you count it. Again, I've had different students respond differently to different counts. I like breaking up a count into smaller ones, like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Again, as long as you're just playing it correctly and it grooves and is vibing, that's what it's all about, right? So the first time through, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Okay? Now, this can be kind of a reach for some people. Eventually, you'll get here for sure. In that case, you can just go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Get comfortable finding the root of the chord you're playing, its 5th and its 5th below, right? Now, the next thing we can do is change the count by 1 beat. Instead of having a count of 3, a count of 3, and a count of 2, we can have a count of 3, a count of 4, and a count of 1. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 1. Now, in this circumstance, I'd rather count to 3 and 5, and then just accent the 1 and the 5 on the next time around. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1. Like that. Going back and forth, you'll hear the difference between each count, even though it's a very similar count, right? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3. Okay? So, pretty conceptually simple, but it might be a little bit more difficult than you might imagine trying it in practice. So, to make it sound a little more musical, we're going to add the chord in the right hand. Now you're going to take that first count. Okay, so now I'm just kind of adding another action. It seems like I'm working on coordination, and really I am, but I'm just assigning different actions to something within the count, right? So we already covered what the left hand is doing on that first one. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Okay, so now if I break this down, that 1, 2, 3, that first 3 count, the 1 gets the root note in the left hand, 1, the 2 gets the root note in the right hand, and then the 3 gets the top of the chord, the E flat and the G, with my pointer finger and my ring finger, the way I'm playing it. However you play it, whatever. 1, 2, 3, like that. So root, chord. You can stay on the whole thing, just like this, thinking of 3, 3, and 2 without moving the bass note around, which maybe you might want to do to get more comfortable with at first. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. And notice on that last 2, the last count, the very last count in the whole measure, I'm getting the whole chord, right? So root, root, chord, root, root, chord, root, chord. And then once you have that down, it shouldn't be too big of a deal to just change the left hand every time. You can do this on any chord, right? We can go from like a C minor to maybe like an F major to G minor to G major. Okay, so it's really just having that rhythm, and then it'll sound drastically different depending on what chords you're using. You can use that rhythm for like a bunch of different songs, okay? So the ultimate point here is being able to go back and forth between that 3-3-2 count and that 3-4-1 count, however you want to do it. And again, I think you might find it a little more difficult, and this is one of those things where how is kind of flaming the people who are like, you just have to feel it. But once you have the count down, then you kind of feel where you can insert the other count. So again, if we do that slowly, like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that, right? Now what I'm doing here, I'm changing the right hand count to kind of fit in better, or to kind of buy my left hand time a little bit, just a second off to kind of realize what I'm doing, searching for that 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 1. See, I kind of like leave it open, and then eventually I can add it if I want to. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Like that, to kind of like maybe make a little bit more emphasis on the end of a bar. Hey, like I said, whatever you want to do. This is just kind of establishing something that isn't a super difficult count, but it is kind of non-traditional. So I think it might be a challenge to a lot of people, but conceptually it's pretty easy when you break it down and just think of it, okay, just like root note, it's fifth, and then it's below. And you can hear it without me counting it. I think that's a better way to kind of like get an idea of what it sounds like. Okay, so challenge yourself. I'm rocking out this Arturia Keylab 88, which is a fantastic MIDI controller. The sounds aren't coming from the piano, they're actually coming from native instruments. I'm plugging it into Logic, which is what I use. I'm using the Gentleman plugin, which is I think my favorite native instruments piano sound, and yeah. So we got going on. So if you have any questions or comments, hit me up in the comment section, Instagram, Twitter, or the website. Talk to you soon.